Hey there, fantasy owners. LTC Fantasy here. Not sure if you're chiming in watching via YouTube or listening via podcast, but really do appreciate the listen no matter how you're streaming the episode. Do want to thank our new and current subscribers. Really do appreciate the support there. And if you aren't subscribed yet, think about doing so, because we put out 3 longer episodes 3 times a week to hopefully help strengthen your fantasy roster. As well as on YouTube, we do put out daily shorts looking at the next day's games, taking a quick hit at a few different pieces just in case you're in a pinch to hopefully give you that little bit of an edge there. Today's our weekend ads episode for week 6, so we'll look at the schedule this weekend and hopefully find you that piece or pieces to help strengthen your fantasy roster as you make that final push. Some things to note: it's a really lighter heavy weekend. Friday there's only 1 game, Saturday there's 15, and then Sunday we're scaling it back down, only 2 games on Sunday. So obviously we'll cover the Friday and Sunday teams because those are the lightest nights and where you can gain a little bit of an edge. With 15 games on Saturday, most of your roster should be playing there. So for the Friday teams, it's LA. They do play Friday and Saturday, so if you do pick up a player on Friday, you might be able to squeeze them in on Saturday. Vancouver only plays Friday this weekend, so if you do add a Vancouver player, hopefully the rest of your roster you're able to squeak them in or pick up somebody else for Saturday. For Sunday teams, all of these players do play both Saturday and Sunday, so if you do get it early enough, you will get them for 2 games over the weekend there. So basically, we'll get right into it. Some Friday defensemen there to look at. Remember again, LA plays Friday and Saturday, and Vancouver plays Friday only there. So look at Sean Dursey. He's owned in 24% of Yahoo leagues, and he has 5 points his last 12 games there. Plays second pairing, second power play. So not the greatest production, but it is an offensive-minded defenseman, and with it being such a light night, might be a decent ad there. Next one is Matt Roy from LA. He's owned in 13% of Yahoo leagues, and he has 3 points the last 5 games there, so not bad production. 8 hits and 7 blocks. He's been decent of late, chipping in a little bit of offense. He's known more for his hits and blocks, but if you can get a little bit of an offense, might be a decent streamer for you, especially again with how light Friday is. You'll kind of see a theme there. Next one's Alex Edler from LA. Available everywhere, 0% owned, playing on the third pairing, but he too has put up 3 points his last 5 games there. 10 hits and 8 blocks. Actually, a little bit better than Murray over that last little stretch, or Matt Roy, over that last little stretch. But for being a very light night, might be worth streaming if you can fit him in. Next one is Luke Shen over in Vancouver, owned in 44% of Yahoo leagues. Playing on the top pairing there. He has 6 points his last 9 games, which is really good production for him. Plus 6, 48 hits and 12 blocks. So he has really, really good secondary stats, and just that he's chipping in a little bit offensively, that's just an added bonus. Should be a fairly good streamer for you, again, on a very light Friday there. Another one in Vancouver is Oliver Ekman-Larsson. Owned in 18% of Yahoo leagues, playing second pairing, second power play unit, and he's put up 4 points the last 12 games there. 22 shots on goal, 20 hits, and 11 blocks in those 12 games. He's obviously not the player he once was, but he still chips in, gets a little bit of power play time. Might be an option for you, again, especially with how light Friday is there. So now we'll look for some forwards that play on Friday. Again, LA plays Friday and Saturday, and Vancouver plays Friday only this weekend. So we'll start off in LA. Look at Victor Arvidsson, listed as left winger, right winger, owned in 16% of Yahoo leagues. Playing on that second line, second power play unit. And he's put up 10 points his last 11 games there, 28 shots on goal. He's been pretty solid all year. He's been fairly consistent as well. So I would probably my favorite ad, I think, for Friday, especially there. Only 16% owned, should be available for you. Next one is Philip Dagnon from LA there, listed as a center, owned in 22% of Yahoo leagues. He too plays on that second line, second power play unit, and he's put up 5 points his last 5 games there, and is a +3. Gets you some pretty good face-off wins there. He's been pretty consistent of late there. On a light night, should be okay to stream him. Next one is Trevor Moore from LA, listed as left winger or right winger, owned in 17% of Yahoo leagues. Plays on that second line, second power play unit, and he has 4 points the last 5 games there, with 12 shots on goal and 5 hits. He can be a little streaky with his offense, but with it being a really light night on Friday, might be okay to stream him there. Last one from LA is Arthur Kaliev, listed as left winger, right winger, owned in 10% of Yahoo leagues. Playing on the fourth line right now, but second power play unit. And he's put up 10 points his last 11 games, so pretty good production there. 26 shots on goal. He's playing really well with limited ice time there, and again, with it being really light on Friday and some of the other options, if Arvidsson or Moore aren't available, I'd definitely look at Kaliev as another option for you. Going over to Vancouver, look at Connor Garland, listed as left winger, right winger, owned in 14% of Yahoo leagues. Playing on the top line, second power play unit. He's put up 6 points the last 9 games, so okay, not great production there. 18 shots on goal. But with it being a really light night, he should provide some value if there isn't other options out there for you. Next one's Andrei Kuzmenko from Vancouver, listed as a left winger, owned in 38% of Yahoo leagues. Playing on that second line, top power play unit. He's been pointless the last 3 games, but put up 9 points the previous 5 games. And with it being on a really light night, he was healthy scratch the other game, so do make sure he's playing, but should add some value for you. Another one from Vancouver is Brock Besser, listed as a right winger, owned in 60% of Yahoo leagues. Playing on the third line, but top power play unit. But he's put up 4 points during a 4-game point streak since coming back from injury. And since back from injury, he's obviously been pretty good, getting a point in each game so far. Should provide some value and should be okay to stream him. And the last one from Vancouver is Ilya Mikheyev, listed as left winger, right winger, owned in 10% of Yahoo leagues. Playing on the second line, second power play unit. He's been pointless the last 3 games, but he did put up 7 points the previous 6. So he is a bit streaky, but again, with how light Friday is, can't stress that enough, should be okay to stream him there. Now we'll move along to some D-men that play on Sunday. Do remember, if you watch this early enough, all of these players do play Saturday and Sunday. So if you do nab them early, you will be able to get 2 games out of them. First one's Jake McCabe from Chicago, owned in 2% of Yahoo leagues. Playing on that top pairing there. He's been pointless the last 4, but he's put up 4 points the previous 5 games there. So his offense is a little streaky, but he does put up a good amount of hits and blocks numbers. So there is some value, even if he gets a goose egg on the sheet there. And again, with only a couple of games on Sunday there, should provide some decent value. Next one is Caleb Jones in Chicago, owned in 3% of Yahoo leagues. Played on that third pairing, top power play unit there. He's been pointless the last 4, but he did put up 6 points the previous 6 there. He does get a decent amount of blocks and hits. Does get top unit power play time, so with it again being light on Sunday, should be a streaming option for you. And the last one from Chicago is Connor Murphy. He's only owned in 4% of Yahoo leagues. Plays on that second pairing. He only has 1 point on the year, but he does have 36 hits and 38 blocks. So if you're in a league that counts hits and blocks, that's where you're going to find some value and might be okay to stream him on the light night. Going over to Pittsburgh, look at Jeff Petrie. He's owned in 64% of Yahoo leagues. playing second pairing, second power play unit, and he's put up 3 points the last 3 games there. And in those 3 games, he has 6 shots on goal, 14 hits, and 9 blocks. So he's been pretty awful to start the season, but he seems to be getting a little bit of offense, and with it being a light night, should be a decent streaming option. Another one in Pittsburgh's Marcus Pettersson, owned in 4% of Yahoo leagues, currently playing on that top pairing, and he's put up 3 points during a 3-game point streak here, 7 shots on goal, 6 hits, 6 blocks. So you can see he's decent in most categories there. Should be a safe streaming option for you, especially with how light the light nights are this weekend. Going over to Florida, look at Gustav Forsling, owned in 65% of Yahoo leagues, playing on that top pairing, second power play unit. He has 2 points the last 4 games, so half point per game there. Plus 4, 7 shots on goal, 5 hits, 4 blocks. So as you can see, again, he contributes in most categories. So even if he gets a goose egg, depending how your league is formatted, should provide some value. And with how light it is, again, should be a pretty good streaming option. Another one in Florida is Radko Gudas, owned in 57% of Yahoo leagues. Plays on the third pairing there. He has 2 points last 5 games, which is pretty good. He's not known for his offense. 9 shots on goal, so shooting the puck a bit. 20 hits in those 5 games, averaging 4 hits a game and 11 blocks. That's where you're going to find some value for you if you need a little bit of boost in those categories, or if they're weighted for points in your scoring league. So they're really good. Any offense you do get out of them is just going to be an added bonus. So should be an okay streaming option. The next one's Jake Bean. He's owned in 5% of Yahoo leagues. He did leave the last game due to injury, so do check that he is back in the lineup. But he's playing second pairing top power play unit, and he had 2 points a couple games ago now. So with Werenski out, he is manning the top power play, assuming he is healthy. Might be an okay streaming option for you. So now we'll move along to some forwards that play on Sunday. Remember, all of these players also play on Saturday, so if you jump on them early enough, you might be able to get 2 games out of them. First one's Max Domi in Chicago there, listed as center, left wing, and right wing, so you can slot him in any spot there. Only owned in 20% of Yahoo leagues, playing on the top line, top power play unit, and he's put up 3 points the last 3 games there with 9 shots on goal. His offense is really hot and cold though, so it is a little bit of a risky play, even with it being a light night, because he doesn't contribute as much in the other categories there. But with limited options, might be worthwhile streaming him. Another one in Chicago is Jonathan Taves. He's listed as a center, owned in 21% of Yahoo leagues, centering that second line on the top power play unit there. And he's put up 8 points his last 11 games there. Contributes a little bit in the blocks department, gets a decent amount of shots, wins a ton of face-offs. His face-off wins are counted in your league there. And with that, should provide some value as a streaming option. Next one's Boone Jenner from Columbus, listed as a center, owned in 31% of Yahoo leagues. Plays on that top line, top power play unit there, and he has 4 points the last 4 games there, 19 shots on goal and 7 hits. He's been really streaky this year, but as a streamer, he should be a pretty okay option for you. Another one in Columbus is Yegor Chinakhov. Listed as left winger, right winger, owned in 1% of Yahoo leagues. He plays on the third line, second power play unit. He has 3 points the last 6 games there, so half point per game, so not the greatest option. But he does have offensive talent there, so he can get you kind of points in bunches. And with limited options with how light Sunday is, might be an okay streamer. Another one in Columbus is Gustav Nyquist, listed as left winger, right winger, owned in 3% of Yahoo leagues. Plays on that second line, second power play unit. He had 2 assists the last game. He's been pointless the previous 5, so he is kind of a gamble, but on a really light night, he can go in little spurts, so might be an option for you. Going over to Pittsburgh, look at Jason Zucker, listed as a left winger, owned in 16% of Yahoo leagues. Should definitely be higher than that. Plays on the second line, second power play unit. He's put up 7 points the last 6 games there, 20 shots on goal and 16 hits. He's been playing really well and should be a fairly solid streamer if you can get him there. If he's available, he'd be a pretty good pickup for how late Sunday is. Another one in Pittsburgh's Rickard Rakell, listed as left winger or right winger, owned in 53% of Yahoo leagues, playing on that second line, second power play unit. He's put up 7 points the last 10 games, so decent offensive production, 31 shots on goal and 21 hits. So even if he does get a goose egg, he does get you some points for shots on goal and hits if those are counted in your league. He's a little streaky offensively, but again, with how light it is, might be a decent option for you. Another one from Pittsburgh's Jeff Carter. He's listed as a center, owned in 8% of Yahoo leagues, plays on the third line, second power play unit. He has 2 points the last 3 games there, 4 shots on goal and 2 blocks. He really does nothing bad, but nothing great. So he's going to be right in that middling tier, depending how deep your league is. Might be a decent center option for you. Should be a fairly safe pick. Another one from Pittsburgh's Brock McGinn, listed as left winger or right winger, owned in 0% of Yahoo leagues, so he should definitely be available for you on Sunday there. Plays on the third line. He's scored in 3 straight games and has 6 points his last 6 games there. So as a third liner, he's not known for his offense, but he's putting up some points right now. So you might be able to catch him on a little bit of a hot streak and squeeze out some value for him as a streamer. Next one's Carter Verhaeghe over in Florida there, listed as a left winger, owned in 63% of Yahoo leagues, playing on the top line, second power play unit. He's put up 12 points his last 9 games there, been really hot. If he's available, definitely grab him because he might not only be a streamer, you might like him as a depth piece as well. He's been that good on Barkov's wing, getting some power play time, etc. Should be a pretty solid piece if he's available. Another one in Florida is Anton Lundell, listed as a center, owned in 37% of Yahoo leagues, playing on that second line, second power play unit. He has 5 points his last 5 games there, so pretty good point per game, 10 shots on goal, 3 hits and 3 blocks. On a light night, he should be a fairly safe streamer. I'd be grabbing him if he is available there. Last one from Florida, excuse me, is Sam Bennett, listed as a center, owned in 63% of Yahoo leagues. Yeah, dropped below 65. He's been knocked down to the third line center role, second power play unit, but since moving down, it's actually improved his offense. He has 4 goals and 1 assist in the last 3 games there. Maybe it lit a little fire under his butt, not sure there. He is very hot and cold though with his offense, so he can be really streaky, but again, with how light it is this weekend, it's very light on those light nights. Should be a decent streaming option for you, depending who's all available in the center role there. Do hope you did enjoy today's episode. We'll be out in a few days with our Week 7 strategy episode. If you did like it and you're watching via YouTube, please remember to hit like, hit subscribe, remember that notification bell. If you're listening via podcast, remember to hit heart, hit that follow, hit subscribe, depending what platform you're tuning in on. And we'll talk to you soon, fantasy owners, and good luck, everyone.